Queue open. Audio up.
Carol, make sure the phone guests are standing by. 8,
Flying graphic.
7,
Camera 2, I'm going to be coming to you
5,
first. Stand by to cue mark.
4, 3, 2.
And cue mark.
Hello, Father Frank.
Hello, everyone. Good to be with you.
It's nice to have you here. Last month, when you were here, you talked about this new project you guys got going, Shockwaves of Abortion.
Yes.
And then also you've had, since then, you were at the March for Life and had some kind of interesting events there. First off, tell us where we are with this Shockwaves of Abortion thing. How's that going?
Well, we are very pleased, with how it has gone. It has launched, and the idea behind it is that abortion hurts everybody. We know it kills the baby, it hurts the mom. Increasingly, people are aware it hurts the dad. But now we had at the March for Life a visual testimony of the fact that it hurts the siblings, it hurts the grandparents, it hurts the friends, it hurts even the abortionists and their staff, and it hurts the pro-life people if they fail to save the life of a child. So what we did was we had people present giving testimony from all these different perspectives and holding signs showing all these different groups of people who are wounded and need healing. Very, very, very powerful because, when, for example, Dr. Tony Levatino, who's one of our medical advisors and, of course, whom you know very well, too, stood there and gave his testimony and held his sign, that always has an impact in and of itself, and he's been doing that for years. But when you do that in the presence of and standing next to the sibling of an aborted baby, when you give that testimony in the presence of the mom and the dad of an aborted baby, there's a dynamic of healing that takes place above and beyond when those testimonies are given individually. Because, for example, when a mom gives her testimony, I had an abortion, one of the things that comes out is she's very angry at that abortionist. But when she's standing next to a former abortionist who's apologizing, then a great deal of healing occurs. So that's what we saw both at the Supreme Court on the day of the March for Life in front of the steps of the court where we always have our gathering. And we saw it again out in the West Coast where we were present at the Walk for Life. And so we were very, very moved by all of that. We had also had a press conference at the beginning of January, and we got some good media coverage to get this idea out, which, of course, is a year-long campaign. So each month we're focusing on a different group.
Great. You had some confrontation with some of the pro-aborts there, as I understand it. What was that about? We
did, too. Yes, we did. What happened that day was that as the march was progressing up Constitution Avenue, we had some folks up at the court getting the platform ready for us to do this. And the pro-aborts were there, and Alveda King, who, of course, as everyone knows, is a niece of Martin Luther King. She's on our staff, and she was up there because she was one of the ones giving testimony. And the pro-aborts began to converge on the area where we were setting all of this up, and they were becoming more and more confrontational and vile, and as is their nature, as we well know. Right. So Alveda was getting more and more saddened by all of this. Now here we have Dr. King. I mean, it's in her genes to have nonviolent resistance against this kind of evil. So she decides to walk right in the middle of this group of raging pro-aborts, not to say anything, not to shout, but to lie down on the ground. It was an amazing sight. She lay down on the ground with one of her signs right on top of her body, and she put her arms out in the formation of a cross, and she just kept her eyes fixed on the heavens, and she was praying silently in sadness and in love for these deceived, wicked people. And one of them there started yelling and cursing cursing at her and saying, who is this? And they used some expletives, which we will delete here. And one of my staff turned to them and said, that is the niece of Martin Luther King Jr. and the pro-abort that had been cursing at her turned away in shame and left the scene. But you see how they are. Of course, we see it all the time, and we talk about it on this program.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
It is. They didn't know what to do, and then and of course, it's the message of Dr. King in the flesh here, because as he said, nonviolence is not weakness. It's not passivity. It's a strong force that confronts evil, and we saw it again happening that day. Right. Mark, we were also blessed with another thing when we did, once the pro-aborts cleared away, and then we started the gathering. We also had Pope Francis's personal representative to the United States present to lead our opening prayer and to give some words of encouragement. This is Archbishop Carlo Vigano. He is called the Papal Nuncio. There's one in every country. And so in the name of Pope Francis, he talked about how we have to constantly trust in God's mercy, those that have had abortions, those that have partaken in abortions, because the whole gathering and the whole campaign of the Shockwaves is about that mercy and reconciliation. So Archbishop Vigano graced the occasion with his blessing and his support for what we're doing here at Priests for Life. That's great.
That's great. Well, it'll sound like y'all had a very good event this year. So
it was, yes, it was, and as we've told our viewers, abortionshockwaves.com is the special website, and there'll be a special focus each month for this campaign. So the month of March, the focus is grandparents and how grandparents are affected by the abortion of the loss of a grandchild to abortion.
Well, that's great. Well, congratulations on that. You guys are doing good work as usual. So,
well, thank you, and it's always great to partner with all of you guys, too.
Well, we'll be looking to see you next month.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thanks for being with us, and don't ever forget, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how the killing is going to stop. We'll see you in April.